everybody. Hope you're ready for some fun because we're going to be discussing one of my favorite comfort horror movies, Bride of Chucky. I'm Jamie.
I'm Nina.
I'm Ethan.
And we're the Bloody Essentials podcast.
Woo!
So hope you guys have been enjoying our episodes so far. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow us. It really helps us out. And if you like what we're doing, please make sure to leave a review. We would love you for that.
Or if you don't, tell us why.
Yeah.
Because we need to improve always.
Yeah. So anyway, Bride of Chucky, one of my very favorite comfort movies. I feel like this movie has such a vibe of the late 90s. Like it's kind of a perfect late 90s movie. Before we get into this, can I just gab for a little bit about how much I seriously love this movie?
Please do.
Absolutely.
Okay. So this one was actually my introduction to the Chucky franchise. Usually I watch them in order, but this one came first and then I went back to the original. This was one of those movies where when it came out, I was a kid, I was a child, but this was in the atmosphere and I was really, really drawn to it. This was that movie cover in the video store that just called to me and said, this movie's too scary for you because that's what your parents told you and they won't let you get it, but you want this movie, come to this movie. So yeah, I was obsessed with this movie before I even watched it, and I'm still obsessed today.
This was my first Chucky movie as well. I was at a friend's house for the night and we were trying to pick out a scary movie, and the whole family was obsessed with horror, so it was great. And they were like, "You haven't seen a Chucky movie?" Not well, we're starting with Bride. So, and then I watched Seed, and then I went back later on my own and watched the Child's Play movies and continued on from there. But it's my favorite franchise out there right now. So
Okay, all right.
This was not my first Chucky movie, nor was I a kid. I was actually out of high school because, well, I'm old. But it's a great movie. As a
I'm
matter
not
of
going to
fact,
tell you how old I was when the movie came out.
I met someone today and was telling them about the podcast, telling them
Yeah.
what we do. And they were like, oh, that sounds so exciting, blah, blah, blah. So he was like, well, what are you reviewing next? And I told him, Bride of Chucky. Why did this man want to fight with me? He was like, that's not a good horror movie, blah, blah, blah. I was like, dude, listen, I'm going to, number one, need you to relax because if you get loud again, we're going to have an issue. I'm like, that's the first thing. I'm like, but listen, you can be a horror movie lover and not like this movie.
Sure.
It's all subjective to what you like. If you don't like it, I'm okay with that. But we're the hosts, we like it, so we're going to review it. So
Even if we don't like a movie, we'll still review it.
absolutely.
But
Totally.
yeah, we're still new, so we're just like, I really want to talk about this movie.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I've been honestly
I
looking for an excuse to talk about this movie for a long time, I feel like.
It's one of my favorite Chucky movies for sure. So,
Yeah.
and even if it's not a good horror movie, like hello, Jennifer Tilly alone.
Absolutely.
At
God.
peak foxiness, she is so foxy in this movie, top foxiness.
I know.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Definitely hot in this movie.
So hot. I was
know.
watching it with Ethan the other day and I'm just like,
No, such a girl crush. Oh my god, who does it though? What horror girl doesn't have a girl crush on her? Come on.
Tiffany is the ideal goth goddess. Like she's perfect.
I know, because she's a little homemaker too, and she's a romantic and everything too. She's I'll kill anybody, but I only sleep with the people I love.
Right?
Love
She's a
her.
one guy kind of girl.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Well, who wants to take us through the plot points this week?
All
Is it
right.
you, Ethan?
We should just jump right into it. I may need
Yeah.
your help, girls. This is my first time. So,
No worries.
all right. We start off going to the police station into the evidence room. Now, can we just stop here for a second and talk about all of the Easter
Absolutely.
eggs that are in there in the evidence lockers? The Michael Myers
Yes.
mask, the chainsaw, Freddy's glove.
Yes.
Now, the Jason mask
They
looks
got
like it
that
was
from the
from
Dollar
Walgreens.
Tree. Yes.
It was was horrible. They could have done a little better with that, in my opinion. So,
Yeah.
but
No
there were
lie.
so many Easter eggs and so many homages to, different horror movies throughout this whole movie. It was great.
And I think this was the first one that really did that because this came out before Freddy versus Jason. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a horror movie's like a horror lover's dream, that room. If only I had an
Absolutely.
hour in there, just grab everything you can.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So now we have the police officer goes to a locker and takes out a black bag. We see him driving down the street. What's in the bag? Well, we kind of know what's in the bag, but we don't know right yet. So he's on the phone and he's talking to who we find out is Tiffany. So he's parked, he's waiting. Curiosity. He's going to open the bag, right? So he opens the bag and it's Chucky. But it's not the Chucky doll, it's the Chucky in pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, next thing you know, he has his throat slit.
Yep.
Which was just completely freaking awesome. I loved it.
So good.
Yes.
Yeah.
We find out that it's Tiffany.
And what a great intro. Like,
Oh,
she's wearing the leather, the
Yes.
Rob Zombie song comes on. Like,
I was
Yes.
just gonna say, I wrote down cue Living Dead Girl. When that plays, like everything's so perfect because it starts with her heels, and I love me like a heels shot. It starts with her heels, and then you get like the whole glory that she is, all leather clad and amazing.
and I like
Yes.
the moment when she holds Chucky's face up and she's just like, hello, Dolly.
I know. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing that we find is we're back in Tiffany's trailer and she's putting Chucky back together, sewing him back together. This is the first time that we see the stitched Chucky, which is really, really cool.
It's my favorite version of Chucky. The
I was
stitched
just
look.
gonna say that's probably my favorite Chucky too. Part of it's because I love this movie so much, but I just think Chucky looks so good in this movie.
He does.
Yeah,
So
he does.
creepy.
Very creepy. We see this house, knock on the door. John Ritter answers the door, which totally cool because who does not love John Ritter? I mean,
Can we just
he is
stop
awesome.
right
God
here
rest
and
his
rave about
soul.
John Ritter? Oh my
Yes.
God. TV
Yes.
dad. Like, I know he started out on Three's Company, but I love him so much. I saw him in 8 Simple Rules first, and I grew up watching that. So, like, when he
Aw.
passed, it was really hard.
He was a hard one because like I
Yeah.
feel like audiences, like we all just kind of felt like we knew him, like whatever show it was that you kind of like fell in love with him on. He's just one of those familiar faces, and every time I see John Ritter in a movie, it makes me feel good and like happy. So and I love him in this.
Yeah.
For sure.
I love that he did this.
Yeah. And he plays
So
a really
the-
good evil guy.
Yes,
Yeah,
he does.
He does. So the boyfriend comes in and meets John Ritter, and all of a sudden, Katherine Heigl starts coming down the stairs. They're going to which I'm assuming is probably prom.
Looks like it.
That's
Prom or
they were
homecoming,
dressed
yeah.
kind of like that, something like
Yeah.
that. So he keeps saying things, and John Ritter's like, "Yeah, something's not adding up here." So they get in the car, start driving down the street. All of a sudden, her actual boyfriend pops out of the back that she's not supposed to be seeing.
Knock off Josh Hartnett, anybody?
Right?
Seriously.
They apparently couldn't afford to get Josh Hartnett there. So
I love that little diversion though, that like it really like lets you know like right away too, like that John Ritter's relationship with her is not good.
yeah,
You kind of he establishes himself as a dick early on. And then but I love the little
Yeah.
like fake out with I think the character's name is David, the friend of theirs.
David.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that he's not just an overprotective uncle, he's just a dick. Like he's just like, I don't care
Right.
what happens to you after you turn 18, but until
Yeah.
then, you're not
Just
making
fuck
me
with
look like
you.
a fool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like fuck
Right.
that guy.
I know.
So after the boyfriend swap and John Ritter has the other cop pull him over and they go through that whole thing. Next thing we do is Tiffany is in the trailer and she's getting ready to perform her little voodoo ritual. So
It's my
Which-
favorite.
it's awesome. The pentagram on the floor. Yeah.
Voodoo
was
for
awesome.
dummies.
Voodoo for
Yes.
dummies. I love
That's
it.
the first appearance of the book, right?
Yeah.
'Cause that was a big
Yeah.
90s trend. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, such an iconic moment. Just have to say, like, I've seen so many great, like, recreations of like that image, her in her
Right.
dress, like doing
Holding
the
the book.
ritual.
Yeah.
Yes, but like, the whole scene is just so iconic and amazing. I love
I
it.
love when she starts hitting the doll, like, awake, awake, awake.
I know, just like what a crock.
Right?
So of course she thinks it doesn't work. We get a knock at her door. She opens the door. It's
Boy
her
toy.
goth boy toy that she's been running around with. And he comes in and she notices that Chucky isn't there anymore. He's not in the pentagram. So
Yeah.
she's like, okay, where's he at? She asked the boy toy to come and take a look under the couch, and he's not there. So the boy toy's like, we've been dating forever. We gonna get it on or what? She doesn't want to get it on with him, but she's like,
Oh.
okay. So she's doing her little sexy dance and she ties him to the bed, doing her little thing there, which I was like, go ahead, girl. Work it out. Work it out. So
Oh
she
my
takes the
God.
Chucky doll and sets it on top of the guy while she's dancing. Then she says, listen, Chucky, Charles Lee Ray, we used to be together when he was alive, and she tells the whole story of who they are and all of that good jazz.
Yeah.
So he's like, what the hell are you talking about? And all of a sudden Chucky turns around. He's like, what's up? He's like, oh my God. So then Chucky takes and smothers the guy and kills him, which is wonderful. That was great.
I like the moment before that where Damien is he's like, Chucky's so 80s, he's not even scary anymore. And
Scary.
it's like such a fun, like that's how a
Meta.
lot of horror fans felt. Like Chucky's not scary, he's boring,
Right.
he's so old school, like, and they brought him into the 90s and it's fantastic.
I know. And I also have to say, I love the moment where the spider falls on her boy toy's face. And Jennifer Tilly, like Tiffany just comes over and she's just like, Charlotte, how did you get out here? Oh, and like takes Charlotte and puts her away. And I'm like, Charlotte's Web, I love that book,
I
but
love that the spider's name is Charlotte, and also I could not tell this, and I still can't believe it. The spider is CGI. It's not real,
no way. I thought it was real for sure.
right? And in '98, that's really impressive.
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't care if it's real, if it's CGI, if it is stuffed, if it is rubber. Keep spiders the hell away from me.
Tarantulas are
spiders.
kind of fuzzy though. I mean, but yeah, I don't want one on my face, no, or
Nope,
near me.
I don't want to be near them. I don't want them in the room. If you see one, I'm going to shriek like a girl. I hate it. Hate spiders.
yeah, same.
Yeah.
Creeps me out just thinking about it.
I know.
All right. So, Tiff and Chucky are talking about, getting married, and he was like, yeah, no, that ring wasn't for you. So she gets pissed off, and rightfully so. I mean, so she takes him and throws him in the playpen, shoves the playpen under the table, and locked him up. She was like, and screw you, dude.
I love
That
it. She just
scene-
smokes a cigarette and
Yes, that scene though, where you see Tiffany's face as she realizes that she's been waiting this whole time,
Yeah.
and Chucky's in the background. That's such a great shot because you see both of their reactions to what's going on, and I
Yeah.
love that moment so much.
and the framing of that scene, it's very like almost film noir or something like that. Like the way that they're framed, it's really, really
It's almost like a De
beautiful.
Palma movie, the way it's set up. It's really pretty. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So the next day, Tiff goes out. She comes back. He's still locked up. Brings her a doll. A bride doll.
Right. Here's your bride.
Here's your bride. Throws him in there with him. Locks him up. Obviously, she's still pissed. So
A little
Oh
bit.
yeah.
she's still pissed.
A little bit.
I mean, she
So
wasted 10 years on the guy.
I know.
Right? So she locks him up. She's like, screw you, I'm going to take a bath. She's in the bath watching Frankenstein, actually, and the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was watching the Bride of Frankenstein. Chucky breaks out, goes in, pushes the TV into the bathtub, and fries her, kills her. Go ahead.
So back up a little bit. When Tiffany is bringing him the doll, I love this moment because it's really quick. You barely see it, but the alphabet blocks, it spells out kill Tiff slow.
Slowly. Yeah.
Yes.
Love it so much.
I
And
know.
when the TV goes into the tub, you see it's a close up of the TV and you see the bride screaming and then it sinks into the water. And then you see Tiffany screaming and then she sinks into the water and then the TV comes back up and she's still screaming. And it's like so beautiful, so smart.
So cool. And I love it's all like electricity is like happening. And again, tying in that like Bride of Frankenstein theme for this movie. It's really fun how they do it. Love
Right.
it. And I
And the
love her
fact that
little bow that she's
I
wearing.
know.
It makes me like I'm like that I want to that's me like on a weekend, like in the tub, got the cute bow on, drinking some drink, watching some horror, have a clown
And the
or
fact
a little
that
doll.
yeah, I love the fact that she's crying while watching Bride of Frankenstein. This woman that's killed people and like screwed people over, but she's not completely emotionless like Chucky, I think. So I love that.
She's a romantic at heart. She really
For sure.
is.
For
So
sure.
like the story like touches her and I love that so much.
Yeah.
She's such a character.
So as Tiff is getting electrocuted and dying in the bathtub, Chucky decides he's going to do his voodoo ritual so he can take her spirit and put it in this new doll.
Yeah.
So obviously that worked. Now she's in this doll and she's like, what the hell? Because of course it looked nothing like her. Till she decided to paint the nails black and dye the hair and make it be the Chucky
Such
that we
a
or
great
the
moment.
Tiff that we
Yeah.
love. Yes.
I love like a makeover montage, and that's basically what this is, but it's even better because it's Tiffany. It's in the Chucky franchise, but like who doesn't love a makeover like montage, like a makeover scene? And it's so good. And she says, Barbie, eat your heart out. Love it.
Iconic. Yeah.
I know.
So Chucky and Tiff are talking. They're like, she's like, we're stuck here now. What do we do? He's like, we can transfer our souls into people, but we need the amulet. Well, where's the amulet? It was buried with my body in New Jersey.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so what the hell? How do we get that, right? So
Maybe
she devises,
don't kill Tiffany.
right? I'm just thinking.
I know.
Yeah.
So they devised the plan to have the neighbor take the dolls and drop them off. The neighbor just happens to be Jesse,
The
the
boyfriend.
boyfriend.
Yep.
So he says, okay, we're going to go ahead and take the doll here, get my $1,000, and we can start our life together. So he goes and he picks up Jess and he's like, oh, I love you, blah, blah, blah. Let's get married.
Yeah.
She's like, excuse me? What do you mean, let's get married? We have no money. He's like, I've got $500 now. I got to drop these dolls off. We'll get another $500. I'll get a job. Let's do it. So she says,
No.
okay.
No.
Little road trip to Jersey, huh? And can I just say,
Right?
I love when the dolls are sitting there and he tells her to just act natural or something, and she like Tiffany like is in this pose when she's laying there.
Yes.
So good. She's such a ham. Like I love that.
I love the moment when Tiff's on the phone with Jesse arranging everything, and I laugh every time I see it. Chucky is drinking the water out of her fishbowl like it's a fucking juice box.
And there's a
Yes.
fish in there.
And the fish is still in there.
I know.
It's great. Yeah.
All right. So Uncle John Ritter decides he's going to crawl into this van and find out what's going on.
Of course.
So he gets in the van to find out what's happening. All of a sudden, he realizes Chucky and Tiff are real. He gets the nails to the face, which great homage to Pinhead from Hellraiser. That was awesome. I believe you were telling me, Nina, that the line "he looks familiar" or something that was
Why does this look so familiar?
so
That was
familiar.
ad-libbed by Brad Dourif.
Oh wow!
So
Oh,
I
love
love
you, man.
Brad. Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yep. It's great.
All right, so they're on their way to New Jersey. Of course, they get pulled over by the uncle's
Dumbass needle
cop
nose
friend,
guy. I think.
Needle
Yeah.
Nose. Yes,
That's what they call him.
yeah. So there's a little banter back and forth, and she says she'd like to eviscerate him. I believe she said.
Something like that. Yeah.
So something
Evaporate
like
him,
that.
something.
Yeah. So she goes to, get food, and which, by the way, if you get pulled over by the cops, they're not going to let you just go get a hamburger. I mean, that's not how that works, but whatever. So Chucky then gets out of the car, blows up the cop car.
While no one sees this. Yeah.
Well, no one sees this. As he's crawling back to the van, the guy who's in the car, who's higher than a kite, sees him and he's like, whoa. And Chucky just flips him off and keeps going. It was
Okay.
great.
This line makes me laugh every time. I laughed when I wrote it down, where he's sitting there and he's like, whoa, like looking, and he's like, rude fucking doll.
Oh,
And I just think, oh, it's so good. It makes me crack up every time. So fucking funny.
Great. But when Chucky is crawling, he drops the lighter that Tiff stole off the police officer from the beginning. So
right.
Yeah.
they're linked. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So Jess and Jade actually end up getting married and going to this little sleazy hotel.
Yeah. This honeymoon
Uh,
suite thing.
Yeah.
Also, like this, they've started suspecting that the other one is responsible for the murders.
Right.
And then they're just like, let's get married. Like, no, if you're suspecting that your significant other is potentially a murderer, no.
Honestly, it might just be bad timing in general, even if things were going well for y'all right now, because you're kind of like suspects at the moment.
Right.
And
Right.
she's a minor, or she's at least still in high school. Like,
Yeah,
not a good idea, guys. Let's just.
just bad
She's
timing.
got what, maybe a year or 2 years. Like, you'll be fine. Like, I know
Yeah.
he's bad, but he can't. Like, just stay away. Like, you guys see each other at school.
Right.
It'll be fine.
Maybe let all of this murder stuff and dropping off these dolls kind of blow over a little bit, first.
Just a
Right.
bit.
Right.
Just a thought.
Right.
Priorities.
Seriously. So obviously the cops are looking for him. You see that on the news. They're at the hotel. The neighbors from the adjoining room burst in half naked, talking about, hey, it's our wedding night too. Let's everybody get it on. They're like, no. That's not how that's gonna work. So in the meantime, the chick steals old boy's wallet.
Mhm.
This pisses Tiff off because although Tiff is a murderer, stealing is wrong. So
Exactly.
Unless
I can
it's
kill you, but
her,
don't
then it's
steal.
fine. Yeah.
Right. So Tiff is like, no, this ain't gonna happen. So she sneaks into their room, and as they're getting it on, takes the champagne bottle, throws it up, hits the mirror, and all the glass comes down and kills him.
It
Which
is
is my
Can I just
favorite
say-
death scene.
I was gonna say that was probably the best death scene in the entire movie. That was great.
It is glass,
So-
water, blood, everywhere. Like the whole thing is amazing. I mean, she sees, Tiffany with the bottle. Tiffany smiles at him, flies up there,
Yes.
and like their corpses looked amazing. And then
Yeah.
oh my gosh, what is her name? The person who's the maid, Kathy Najimy, I think is her
Mhm.
name. She pops up for a little cameo, and I love her so much. And she's just the maid who goes in and finds them, and it's amazing. So love all the people who pop up in this, by the way.
Yes.
would not want to be a maid at that hotel though, because she's like, "Oh, what happened here?" Or like newlyweds. Like, oh my
I
God, this
know.
poor woman. Like
Yeah.
she's seen
She's
it
seen some
all.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So great.
So Tiffany's killed them. This, of course, makes Chucky realize how much he loves her because, you know, why not? Because murder, hey, I love you, right? So he pops the question and says, I should have done it before. Let's get married.
Yeah.
She's, oh my God, that's so great. So then, in a very creepy way, the dolls get it on. So
There's a silhouette,
yeah,
very tastefully done, in that sense. We get a nice
exactly.
little silhouette over there at the honeymoon suites.
Uh,
Also, fun fact, Jennifer Tilly and Brad Dourif improvised all their dialogue for that sex scene.
really?
Of course they did.
Everything all the way through to the rubber line.
That was great. Do you have a rubber? I am rubber.
So amazing. So amazing.
I
Yeah.
love them together. They're great.
I do too.
So the next day, when the maid finds the bloody corpses, Jess and Jade come in, run out, jump in the truck. But they had both actually called the friend David to say, I think I've made a mistake. I think my significant other is a killer. Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, if neither one of you are feeling the marriage and you both think you're serial killers, maybe you don't. I'm just saying, let's have this annulled. So,
Right?
Yeah.
right? Oh, good God. Okay, so the friend David shows up, which, how the hell did he get there so quickly?
That's kind of
That's
what I was
what I want to
wondering
know.
too.
Because he was just on the phone with Jade, and she told him where they were, and then like
Right,
as soon as they discover the bodies, boom, there he is.
right.
Yeah.
So he's in the van with them. They're going to drop off Chuck, and he's like, "Man, it stinks in here."
Thanks.
He's like, "No, it really stinks in here." Well, of course, there's a rotting dead body down here, right? So David finds John Ritter's body. Of course, he thinks one of them or both of them have killed him. So he grabs his gun and he's like, "All right, both of you, let me out of here. I'm done. You know, you two are nuts." So of course they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Because neither one of them knew the body's back there, right? They're like,
Yeah.
"What are you talking about?" So they pull over. He opens the door. He's got the gun. Cop sees this happening, decides he's going to flip a U-turn. Well, David, not paying attention, steps out into traffic and boom, hit by a Mack truck.
What a
Splat.
That
what a
was great,
clumsy little lad.
right?
I love me one of those kind of kills though. I'm a sucker for that where you have like this drama happen, you have this happening in the story, right? And then all of a
Right.
sudden he steps out and then bam, just hit by a truck.
It was
It
great.
is definitely one of my favorite tropes or whatever that they've done
Yeah.
in the past. Yeah. Love it.
Yes, I'm a sucker for that. I love it.
Yeah.
And he really went splat.
It was
Yeah.
so bloody. It was great.
I know.
Yeah. So the kids now find out that Chucky and Tiff are real because they're talking and moving and they have guns. Which, by the way, where did they have the guns?
I
mean,
I think
Places.
Right?
Places.
I'm like, you're 2.5 foot tall. Where did you hide this gun? But whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
it's strapped. She's got like a little leg strap and stuff.
Yes. I think that's it.
So they decided everybody and their mother's going to be looking for this van. We need to go ahead and get another mode of transportation. So, they steal a mobile home, kill the old people in it, stuff them in the bathroom, and great. They're on their way. Okay. So as they're there, she's tied up in the back and he's driving and Chucky's in the passenger seat and Tiff's just back there making cookies and Swedish meatballs and, everything's all hunky-dory and they're all lovey-dovey and she's bringing them cookies and all that and everything's great. And then they start saying, I wouldn't let her treat you like that. I wouldn't let him treat you like that. So they start fighting, which is great. I'm like, okay, can you really be talked into fighting that easily? But whatever.
Oh yeah. I also think it's funny. The only thing she ever cooks for Chucky is Swedish meatballs.
Right.
I'm convinced that's the only thing she knows how to make. And that's
It
the only
could be.
reason. That's the only reason it's his favorite. He's got to be tired of fucking Swedish meatballs. That poor guy.
I love it though. She's such a little like it's like her little like fantasy like homemaker kind of life. Like that's all she really wants, from Chucky and everything. So,
Just clean
she
a dish,
trying.
man. That's all you got to do. Just wash one fucking dish.
I mean, she made the meal. Come on. She's gonna cook dinner. You can't even clean a dish. Come on.
Right? I love it so much.
I
Oh my
know.
god.
And I'm a husband who doesn't do dishes, so I'll just shut up.
You do the cooking. You cook.
No, I do do the
Fair.
cooking. I do. I cook.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So during their fight, the mobile home gets wrecked, flips over. Everybody's thrown out. Jade is taken by Tiff. No, I'm sorry. Yes, Jade is taken by Tiff, and Chucky abducts the other one, Jesse. So they're running around. They're at the gravesite now. He has Jade open the grave, pulls out the amulet, because now, they can put their souls back in there.
I like the part where he's telling her to pry open the coffin or whatever, and she's like, "I'm trying, you fucking midget!" Like,
Yes, that was
Yeah.
great.
And I love it too because by this point too, Tiff is pretty like burned up because she got
Yeah.
kicked or she got flung into that oven, right?
Oven,
Basically.
yes.
And
yeah,
I love the way that she looks all burnt, by the way, like especially when she's still in the oven and you see her face and she's in there. I love that. So by this point, Tiff is pretty burnt up, like burnt to
Yeah.
crisp.
yeah, and it's implied that she feels it, so it's she's in a lot of pain. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
So now they have the amulet and they can go ahead and transfer souls and all that. They're like, okay, I've got Tiff, I've got Jade. Let's trade them so we can, get our girls back.
Yep.
They go to their prospective people. They're hugging and stuff. Chucky throws a knife, stabs Jess in the back.
I love the scene when they're the handoff. By the way, like when
Yeah.
the girls, I love that whole scene because they're walking slowly, and as Tiffany's coming past her, she's saying like, "You have a good man," kind of thing. Basically, like you've got a
Yeah.
good
we're
one.
very lucky. Yeah,
Yes, yeah. So I love that
Yeah.
whole moment, and like they're like how they're met is very different. I feel like you definitely see like a difference there. But you're like, Chuck is gonna screw her over. I feel like.
Jesse embraces Jade, and then Chucky's just like, get away from me! Don't touch me! You're gross!"
Right.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
no
Right.
empathy from him whatsoever.
So Tiff does the only thing that she can do. She stabs Chucky. I mean, as it should be. You're grossed out by me? Screw you, I'm going to stab you. They have a
Right.
real love-hate relationship, if you haven't noticed. So,
The epitome of a toxic relationship. They've been through some shit.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
emotions are high in this one, in this relationship.
Yeah,
My
absolutely.
my thing is, like, after he gets the amulet, I don't really think that. I mean, I think he loves Tiffany in his own way, but I don't think he would have bothered to get Tiffany back. Like, he knows what condition she's in.
Right.
Like,
Oh,
I think he would have just ran.
he doesn't care. Like, I mean, he loves her in his own way, but he loves himself a lot more. So he's
Yeah, for
ultimately
sure.
gonna choose him over
Yeah,
Tiffany.
and I think he likes using her and abusing her. I think
He
he
does.
enjoys it. So maybe that's yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so after Chucky's stabbed, the cops find the kids and Chucky at the gravesite.
hmm
Then Jade kills Chucky by shooting him. Well, yeah, because I mean, you can't really kill Chucky because he's coming back.
We all know there's some more
Yeah.
movies ahead.
So he kills
Yeah,
Chucky.
spoiler alert. And
Exactly.
Chucky kills Tiffany, and then he's like, "Get off my knife!" And yeah,
Right.
throws her away. It's heartbreaking.
I know, poor Tiff again. You're just heartbroken for her. Ugh.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So after she, shoots Chucky in the whole 9 yards, the cops are like, "Oh yeah, no, we got these kids here. They didn't do anything. You can go home."
That would
I'm
never
pretty
happen.
sure that's not going to happen either. I mean,
That cop was
how
raged
exactly?
too. Yeah, he
Right.
believed him way too easily.
And I'm like, how exactly are you going to explain? No, I let them go, who are real people, but these dolls did it. You're going to end up in the freaking nut house because people are not going to believe you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how that is.
I
They
get
should
that
have
it's
brought the cop in sooner to see Chucky and Tiff fighting and stuff, so he could actually see them.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But soon the cop will find out that Tiffany was actually real. So the cop finds Tiff's charred remains, and all of a sudden she starts screaming. And he's like, "What the hell is going on here?" And all of a sudden, pop! Big burst of blood. And we've met Glenn or Glenda. And that's the end of the movie, and perfect setup for Seed of Chucky. So,
And I have to say too, I love what Tiff says to Chucky. She says, "We belong dead. Goodbye, darling. See you in hell."
hell.
Which We Belong Dead, of course, is a quote from Bride of Frankenstein. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
tying it all together, a nice little bow.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. And then yeah, pretty good setup for, another movie.
Right?
Nothing like a shock, nothing like an exploding pregnancy at the end of a movie to end a movie.
Yeah.
She got pregnant fast.
Yeah, she does.
It's because he didn't have a rubber. So,
All right, I got some fun facts. Let's do it.
all right.
Ooh.
All right, so since this is our first Chucky movie, I'm just going to go ahead and mention this. Don Mancini's inspiration for Chucky's name are based off of people that haunted him in his childhood. So Charles is from Charles Manson, Lee is from Lee Harvey Oswald, and Ray is from James Earl Ray, who killed Martin Luther King. And obviously, we know who the other two are.
Yeah.
All right. And let's see here. The events in this film takes place 1 month after the third Child's Play film. So I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that
Yeah.
either.
Yep. Just a quick little shout out. Kevin Yeager was the head of the puppeteer department. Pretty much is for the entire franchise, I believe. So yeah. This was Brad Dourif's favorite film until Curse of Chucky was released. So he really liked it. In the Living with Chucky documentary, he mentioned that on the previous films, he was very lonely working by himself because he was just in his own little room in a big sound studio. And then when Jennifer Tilly was brought on, he was just like, thank God. Like, he was like, um, he asked Dawn, he was like, why have I not had a bride sooner? Like, so he loved working with Jennifer, and they had a lot of fun apparently.
That is so adorable. Can I just say, I would watch their buddy movie 100%. I would just love to
Right?
be a fly on the wall with those two, just hang out with those two, see what they get up to. They must have had fun
Yeah.
on this, and that's really cute and sweet.
It shows in the film, and the Living with Chucky documentary, it shows a couple moments of them hanging out behind the scenes, and it's really fun. Like, you can tell they're having a good time.
Aw, that's nice to hear.
Yeah. Apparently, this is fun. There was a planned album of love songs that was supposed to feature Brad and Jennifer Tilly singing as their doll counterparts.
I read
Oh, wow.
that. I want
Yeah,
that. I want
I
that
know.
still. That should happen. It's not too late.
I know. In the commentary of Bride of Chucky, I think Dawn said that Tiffany was supposed to sing Killing Me Softly with his song. And then Chucky was supposed to sing House of the Rising Sun. And then they were supposed to sing a duet of Hit the Road Jack.
That's so
That would have
cute.
been great.
That would have been awesome. The date on Tiffany's newspaper clippings at the beginning of the movie and the date of the death of Charles Lee Ray on the tombstone is 9th of November, 1988, which was the release date of the first Child's Play movie.
Nice. I
Yeah.
loved that there was multiple. I collect headlines, like horror movie headlines. So there was like a whole like slew of them. There was like 5 or 6 like headlines for this one. So I loved that.
I would love the newspaper clipping of Charles Lee Ray killed in Chicago or whatever. I think that'd be so
Yeah.
cool.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah. Tiffany was actually based on Don Mancini's friend Ronnie, but he wrote it for Jennifer Tilly specifically in mind. So that's fun.
Aw, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like she's like a perfect fit for it, and since that was who was envisioned to be this, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. And I can't see anybody else playing her. So,
Oh no.
yeah, no way. Apparently, at least for this film, I don't know about the others, but it was 8 or 9 people per puppet. So for 8 or 9 people for Tiffany, 8 or 9 people for Chucky at a time. Like,
Wow.
Wow.
yeah, it looks great. Like the movement on this film with the puppets, it's so good. So good.
The puppets look beautiful in this movie, and I always dreamed of having a Tiffany. I really want a Tiffany.
I know.
Just so cool.
I want a Tiffany too, and I got my Glen doll. Thank you, Jamie.
Of course.
He's my favorite. I really
Aw.
want to get a Glenda doll, or at least be able to switch out Glenn for Glenda. So
Oh my gosh, yes.
yeah, yep. And then just a little plot hole. Apparently, one of the news reports that you hear in Jesse's van, the announcer mentions that Charles Lee Ray was gunned down in Hackensack, New Jersey, and obviously we know that he was killed in Chicago. And
Right.
it even says in the newspaper clippings that Tiffany has that he was killed in Chicago. So,
Whoops.
whoops. But that's all I got.
And I just had to say too, like, I have it up next to me, but the soundtrack in this movie is really, really fun. Like, first of all,
Yeah.
the score is amazing. I mean, when I was watching this for homework, even before like we see anything on screen, I mean, we just have like the logo for the company, like whatever production company, but you have that music coming in already, and it's like eerie and epic and so great. And then I really love of course, the Rob Zombie song in it is great. And then there's like a remake of Crazy by Patsy Cline. And I love
Yeah.
that version. I don't know who sings it, but it's really cool. And it reminds me of a band I really like, Rasputina, I think they were called. I don't think
Yeah.
it's them though, but I love that
No.
the vibe of the music. It's really
It's
good.
called the name of the band that sings that song is Kidney Thieves,
I'm gonna have
which
to
I
look them
love.
up because I love
Yep.
Okay.
that.
Yep.
I
I
love
love
that
Patsy Cline and I love
too.
the raspy version of it. It's fantastic. But
Yeah.
Power Man 5000 is also on it. Rob
Yes.
Zombie's brother is the lead singer of Power Man 5000, and this
Yeah.
apparently, as far as I know, is the only soundtrack that features both of them on the same soundtrack. So that's cool.
That is cool.
Wow.
It's a pretty rockin' soundtrack. Judas Priest is on it, Slayer is on it, Typo Negative is on it. Those are just some of the other White Zombie is on it. Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
rockin'.
One thing I forgot to mention, Damien the boy toy, Damien Baylock is his full name. Damien is technically from The Omen, the child, and then Baylock
Yeah.
was the nanny's last name. So another little
Easter
horror
egg.
homage. Yep.
Oh, very
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah, there's
Yep.
lots to love for like horror nerds in this one.
Yeah.
I really think they were thinking about that. We have lots of fun little Easter eggs throughout, and I think that's part of why I love this one so much. It's like
That's
a horror movie
Right.
lover's horror movie.
Right.
that's something
Right.
that never went away for the franchise either. They always have Easter eggs or little cameos that they did, even in the series that they have out now. Like it's Don loves to make people happy. So like
No.
yeah, he
Yeah.
knows what people want most of the time. He's thinking ahead. He's usually ahead of his
Yeah.
time. So yeah.
For
Right.
sure, for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Let's talk about rating this movie. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
You know me, I tend to rate high because when I love things, I love things. And I'm gonna say again, this is my favorite Chucky movie because it's the one that I was introduced to Chucky through. Like I said, it has like a perfect like late 90s feel to me. The type of humor, the way it's shot, the people who are cast in it, the music, everything about that is like perfect. And yeah, I feel like this is a movie that I can watch like any time. It's literally my comfort movie. I watch it constantly and it never gets old. So this is a 10 for me. It's not a 10 movie, but for me it's a 10 because I love this movie so freaking much.
Aw. I'm a little bit lower. I'm a 9 because it's very hard for me to get to a 10, but it's near perfect. It's almost perfect. I don't know what could make it a 10 for me, but I love it so much. And I don't know if it's my favorite in the franchise, but it's definitely in the top 2. So it's between
Sure.
this and Curse, I think.
Okay. Good.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I love
Yeah.
Nico. But yeah, girl
Yeah,
crush number 2.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
yeah. Definitely a great movie. Awesome soundtrack. I mean, Jennifer Tilly is just hot. I mean, come on. So
No.
I would say, of course, it wasn't the goriest, it wasn't the bloodiest, which I really like. But above all, I think it was a really fun movie. I would give it an 8.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's fun. It's so much fun.
Again, this one just makes me happy. Even when I was putting this on, and again, the movie wasn't even on the screen yet. It was just the music starting, and I'm like, I'm happy. This is gonna be a good time. Here we go.
It's
Nothing
one
had even
of
happened
those,
yet.
yeah, it's one of those movies where as soon as I turn it on, I just feel so nostalgic because I remember exactly where I was when I first saw it, and that same feeling that I had when I first watched it is still there every single time. And it's like I cannot look at my phone when I've seen this movie so many times, but like I'm glued to the screen every single time I watch it, and I love it so much. It's fantastic.
Me too.
Yeah.
Never gets old for me.
Never gets old. So all right. That is Bride of Chucky. Next week we will be doing Sinister, and we have a very special guest with us. We will have Ethan's niece, Cassie, and we're really excited because Cassie's not a big horror fan. So
Right.
Ooh, it's gonna be
yeah,
fun.
Yeah.
it's gonna be a lot of fun. So really excited about that. Again, please review our podcast. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. If you have any movie suggestions, let us know. And like, follow, subscribe. We really appreciate it. Until then, I'm Nina,
I'm Jamie.
I'm Ethan.
and we are Bloody Essentials. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.